What you consciously change within yourself, you change for the world too. Welcome to this week's World Affairs Truth Report number 9. I'm Helen Jane Rose. I'm a channel, spiritual guide, automatic writer and author of a number of books, including The Coming Times, which is where these truth reports came from. If you would like to know a little bit of more background, there's an interview between myself and my lovely partner Ged on our YouTube channel, The Coming Times Unpacked. And if you'd prefer to read the transcript from this report that I'm about to read out verbatim, they'll be up on our website, thecomingtimes.org, under the tab The World Affairs Truth Report. So I'll read the report verbatim, and then my lovely partner Jeb will come and join me, and he will unpack the messages and bring his own wisdom. He's an amazing energy healer, acupuncturist, senior cranial therapist, and yeah, he'll come in and help to ground the messages. Okay, so I'm just going to read out the message for this week's report that I've written through automatic writing. Welcome, beautiful souls, to this week's World Affairs Truth Report number 9. A new way of being is being asked of you. A new way of being that will bring great benefit to you and the world too. For what you consciously change within yourself, you change for the world too. Why? Because we come as a reminder again that consciousness creates. Consciousness is where the world changes. This week's report wants to focus on how important it is right now to be so conscious of your consciousness, if you want to. A riddle, perhaps. Are you consciously becoming a part of the solution to the world's problems? Are you indifferent, or are you part of the problem? Where you are at in your internal world makes all the difference. Beautiful soul, you are here listening to this transmission because you have a purpose to remember the truth of who you are within a world that doesn't want you to. For you to become sovereign within yourself. For you to become one with the soul at the heart of you. The inner knowing, the remembering of who you really are outside of all the conditioning. You will notice, if you continue to listen to our transmissions, that deliberate themes are being repeated as we help to assist you in the freeing of your mind. To help all who want to come back to their true sovereignty and thrive in a world that doesn't want them to. That wants them to stay stuck within the confines of their fearful mind. That wants them to run riot by their thoughts of what a fearful and dangerous place the world has become. To literally and metaphorically be driven mad. But our purpose is the opposite. It's to help to restore peace from within you, to help to bring peace to your mind, to ignite the peace at the heart of you. Peace of mind, inner peace is our goal for you. Perhaps for some, being at peace isn't something you've ever thought about. Yet we know that what everyone is ultimately striving for, outside of all the material conditioning, is peace with mind, peace of mind, and ultimately the experience of inner peace. For what stems from an inner environment of peace is a beautiful external experience as life as you have not yet known it. Some call the experience blissful, others call it nirvana. It starts within before it becomes seen. We wish to pull you away from the world for a moment and ask you to focus on you. What do you really want? What at the heart of you drives you? What makes you tick? Perhaps you don't really know. Perhaps again, you haven't really thought about it. Perhaps it seems like a wishy-washy question. Yet we say in coming back to taking responsibility for your consciousness, it's a very important question to try and answer. What motivates you? For becoming self-responsible in the way we talk of isn't for the faint-hearted. Yet the rewards are high, but it takes great inner discipline to start off with. Are you in? Are you up for the journey inwards? To feel inner peace from within yourself? Just say yes to letting the journey begin. There is so much help available to you. As soon as you say yes, you will be assisted and synchronicities will start to happen for you. Perhaps you're already noticing them, or perhaps you're feeling stuck. Please trust us when we say with pure intention anything that currently feels like a cage around you, something you can't shift, a situation that seems insolvable. We tell you anything can change, and it will. A little faith and trust is needed, and that's the part to start to open up to. The faith and trust that the unseen is supporting you. It's a completely new way of being. It's where you start your day believing that you're being looked out for. Believing that there is a bigger part of you that's connected to the whole, and that if you start to believe it to be true, that's exactly what will start to happen for you. You will start to work with your true self instead of inadvertently working against it. It sounds crazy when it's said like that, but it's true. A new way of being sees you honouring the true you, where you start to feel your inner connection and it starts to feel real for you. We love you and only want the best for you. We are the Divine Council bringing our messages through to you. Okay, and like last week, I am gonna just close my eyes and tune in and just see if there's any additional messages that want to come through me. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am the one that is known to some as Saint Germain. I have been known by many other names too, but how I present myself to you and to many others too is as Saint Germain. My name is irrelevant. It's my message that is important to you. I come through on a different frequency today. If you imagine there are many, many, many different energetic frequencies, and I come with a somewhat softer, more feminine presence within this one today. For what is felt is for a short transmission of divine love being transmitted through her to you. A feeling of being engulfed in a love that is genuinely felt for you. I come with a combination of my divine counterpart working through this one while I hold space. And this is a slightly different transmission. In that we are bringing through the energy of unconditional love as a frequency that we hope to be felt by you. A frequency that says that whatever up to this moment you may inside yourself be holding shame about, past experiences that perhaps you're not proud of, past experiences where the side of yourself that you would perhaps refer to as not your best self were brought out in you. And we say that to this moment, to be able to start to make peace with your past is a very powerful place for you to be. For true divine unconditional love starts from here, starts from now, starts from nothing matters before. It's all about the choice you make now. And this goes for everyone. There is nobody that this does not apply to. And so we say to you, if you are listening now, or if there is someone close to you or around you at this time who is suffering from deep shame within themselves, this message is for you. You can let that go. You can let that go now, for what you carry through is just harming you, and it is causing you to be separate from your soul self in a way that is unimaginable for you. For your soul self feels just love for you. For your soul self understands that often that what's perceived to be mistakes are not. And that there are so many deep layers to every moment that takes place for you. and that sometimes the mind grapples to understand why certain things happen the way they do, like will be happening on the world stage. And so we urge you to, first and foremost, try hard to find a love for you. For on the other side, if you like, there is absolutely no judgment of you. You choose certain experiences for the growth of you, and you choose on the other side of those experiences how you relate and how you choose to grow, or essentially to stay the same. The choice is up to you. But our mission, our purpose, if you like, in bringing these messages through, like many, many others too, is to ignite that love at the heart of you, that love for you. For only then can you start to feel the true you. And that starts with allowing yourself to love you, all of you. We love you. Right. Hi. I hope you enjoyed that transmission. I could, within myself, I felt such a shift inside myself. I almost could feel like this wave, literally like this wave of such gentle love. That would be the best way I could describe it. So I hope maybe you felt a little bit of that too. Right, I am going to scooch over and invite lovely Ged to come and join me.
Thank you, Helen.
Hello.
Thank you, Saint Germain. Yeah, I mean, very much about the felt sense, that one for me. I could hear it in your voice as well. The voice was very much softer.
Yeah, it felt different.
Yeah, I think that's something you can listen to over and over again, and just even put the words to the back of your mind and just feel the frequency and vibration that's coming through. You know, we're really being supported, and you know that's what came through in the report number 9 today. The level of support that's behind us, that they're asking us to lean into and acknowledge. And the amount of love that's there for us as well. And you know, it's hard, I think, if you're in a difficult situation, especially if there's, you know, lots of trauma and things going on in your life, the idea of loving yourself is a difficult ask. I think you start by just acknowledging yourself that yes, this is a difficult situation, or I've been in a difficult situation, and start from that standpoint. Maybe look at yourself in the third person. If you would, you know, listen to your story as if it was coming from someone else, how would you look to them in a sort of caring, comforting, empathic way? You start with that towards yourself, and that builds and builds and builds until you can eventually love yourself. And from there you really understand in a different way what the life journey is about, and that it's all by design to steer you towards loving yourself and then remembering who you really are. So yeah, be kind to yourself. Start gently. Just know that it's possible. It's not just possible; it's probable, and will happen if you step into it. I was also interested in Saint Germain saying that he was adopting a different level of consciousness today. I found that fascinating. Well, I guess we do the same, don't we? Depending on your mood. It's very sort of different, I'm sure, to what Saint Germain is talking about. But for us, that's how we are. We relate to ourselves and others depending on our state. So that's your level of consciousness at that time. And I guess from their more evolved state, they can choose the vibration and frequency of how to relate to us and what we need at any specific time. And I guess they feel that we need a bit of love right now in this crazy world that we're in. So very much appreciated. So yeah, I urge you to listen to that over and over and just get comfortable with that energy, that frequency. So I'll work through the report that came through today. It says a new way to be is being asked of you. So I would ask you to ask yourself a really honest question. Do you think the way you are, the way you've been, is how you want to be right now? And I doubt that anyone says yes to that question. One, because basically we're always looking to improve ourselves, even if it's a better job or a new relationship or a different exercise regime. They're very simple things, but this is a different level of consciousness of firstly how to relate to yourself and then to others. And it's a repeated message over and over and over again. It's been in every transmission so far about the fact that we create our reality, that we create consciously. And they're going to keep repeating that because there's absolutely no way we'd accept it if they just said it in the first one and never mentioned it again. You'd forget about it. But they're going to keep saying it until we, as a collective consciousness, start to create our own reality. Because it brings with it a whole level of responsibility, that the idea of that itself, that, all your thoughts create a reality that affect other people, not just yourself. If you have a family and children, parents would understand that because the children are a reflection of themselves, but it goes beyond that. The outside world is a reflection as well, and if we can consciously create a peaceful, loving, caring community environment, then that's what will appear, and that's what everyone else will benefit from. They say a new way of being that will bring great benefit to you and the world too. For what you consciously change within yourself, you change for the world too. Why? Because we come as a reminder again that consciousness creates. Consciousness is where the world changes. Now, these are really positive statements and words of encouragement. And they're encouraging us to stay focused, stay with it, believe it as much as you can, play with it. And, the minimum you can do is take full responsibility for your thoughts, words, deeds and actions. And I guess just by being a decent, good human being, you feel better. When, you've maybe caused mischief or, hurt someone intentionally or unintentionally, you don't feel good. And equally, we feel good when we, do the opposite and treat people in a loving way. The next bit, they talk about a riddle, and I've been playing with it whilst Helen's been talking, and I haven't got the answers yet, but I'll just throw it out there. And they said the report wants to focus on how important it is right now to be so conscious of your consciousness. If you want to, a riddle perhaps. Are you consciously becoming a part of the solution to the world's problems? Are you indifferent or part of the problem? Where you are in your internal world makes all the difference. So becoming consciously conscious of your consciousness. C. For me, being conscious is just being aware, paying attention. If you're studying, you're conscious of whatever you're reading and studying, whatever action you're doing. That one is fairly simple. To become conscious, you're focusing your attention on something. So consciously aware of your consciousness is the complication, because where is your consciousness? Is that fluid? Is it static at any one moment? Does it move? Does it go up and down? And I'd love to say I've got the answer for that, but I think some of it crept in at the end there, where Saint Germain changed his or their consciousness to a softer approach. And I think we can do the same. So you're becoming conscious of your state. You're focusing on your state. You can choose to you can choose to change your state of consciousness. And I just think these are words of encouragement to really think about it, to hone in on it, to drill into it, that there's something here that is new, that it's not really been spoken about too much before, but it seems to be a common theme in a lot of areas and a lot of teachings that are out there. So there must be something in it. And if you look around the world of those people that are adopting this sort of philosophy, they tend to be in a fairly peaceful state and enjoying life. They're certainly not embroiled in any wars. So they're just asking us to pay it deeper attention to your own internal state. But I consider it's the equivalent of going to the gym to build muscles, strength, stamina, all of those. The dedication to changing your physical body is an easy one to understand. We have to do the same here to go to the mind gym, and it requires effort. You can't just expect to do it for 2 minutes in the morning and then that's it for the rest of the time. You've got to work at it, and until it becomes your truth. It becomes something of who you are each and every day. And it's not going to take forever. I can imagine some people would be thinking, well, that's just impossible. I've got too many things going on. There's busy life and yada yada yada. And I totally get and understand that. But we're living in times of rapid change. With the technological world, AI, and all of those things that are here in our lives now, and they just seem to have arrived yesterday. So I think the equivalent can happen in a shift in consciousness. If you just work at it, pay attention to it, it will shift very, very quickly. But you've got to dedicate to it, and you've got to commit to it, and you've got to say yes if you want to. Beautiful soul, you are here listening to this transmission because you have a purpose to remember the truth of who you are within a world that doesn't want you to. For you to become sovereign within yourself, for you to become one with the soul at the heart of you, the inner knowing, the remembering of who you really are outside all of the conditioning. You will notice if you continue to listen to our transmissions that deliberate themes are being repeated as we help to assist you in the freeing of your mind. So the world is set up to obstruct you from remembering the truth of who you are. Or it certainly would appear to be. And there will be lots of arguments as to, and valid arguments and objections as to why it's very difficult to remember who we are, and also to, argue the fact that other people dictate what happens. But they've mentioned this many, many times before, and I have, that it's a setup. The whole thing is a setup. It's by design to point you to remembering who you are. So the deeper and the stronger the challenge, the further you have to introspect and go deeper into the wound and the traumas and the behavior of yourself. Because if those setups, those obstructions, those challenges weren't there, you wouldn't look. we just breeze along, and it might be quite nice, but there's not a great deal of expansion and not a great deal of growth. So we behind the scenes, in the non-physical world have set all this up. So you're never a victim, and it's your opportunity to deal with the challenge in the best way that suits you and suits the world and suits the planet. So don't miss the challenges, don't miss the opportunities, and don't look at them from a victimhood state. So they say to help all who want to come back to their true sovereignty and thrive in a world that doesn't want them to thrive, that wants them to stay stuck within the confines of their fearful mind, that wants them to be run riot by their thoughts of what a fearful and dangerous place the world has become, to literally and metaphorically be driven mad. Quite damning statements. And but two things stick out for me here. They're stressing that when we recover sovereignty, to remember who we are and the truth of us as a conscious creator, that we'll thrive, not just survive. I mean, just, if you just say those two separate words in your mind, one of them feels quite expansive and powerful, and the other one feels quite limiting and kind of weak. So they're really stressing this return to self, this return to sovereignty is a hugely positive thing for us, and it's going to be hugely, hugely beneficial. The other is they mentioned the fearful mind, as running riot, and so they're, equally as the outside world is presenting us with war and chaos and all those other horrible things that happen at the moment, it's the mind that is also causing as much, if not more, obstruction, stagnation, resistance to finding out who you really are. And you can deal with this. Maybe there's certain things on the world stage that at the moment in time you can't physically step into and change anything, but you can change your thoughts. And that's where it begins. But our purpose is the opposite, is to help and restore peace from within you, to help bring peace to your mind, to ignite the peace at the heart of you. Peace of mind, inner peace is our goal for you. This is also a repeat message. All of these messages are steering us inwards to a level of inner peace, self-reflection, self-awareness. And eventually, these things will appear in our outside world. So, you're not insignificant in any way. You have responsibility for yourself. And, I urge you to take action for yourself. Perhaps for some, being at peace isn't something you've ever thought about, yet we know that what everyone is ultimately striving for, outside of all the material condition, is peace with mind, peace of mind, and ultimately the experience of inner peace. For what stems from inner peace, what stems from an inner environment of peace, is a beautiful external experience of life, as you have not yet known it. Some call the experience blissful, others would call it nirvana. It starts within before it becomes seen. Now, most of us, the vast majority of people on the planet, have experienced peace at some time in their life. Just staring at the stars when you at night time, or if you're on holiday, staring at the sea and being in nature. All of the natural world that doesn't want anything from you, and you're just with it, is a state of peace that we all recognize and remember. And the suggestion here is that can be our natural state, or should be. It's our right for that to be our natural state. It should be uncommon to feel other than that. But they're also suggesting some far more magnificent, like a nirvana type experience. I don't think I personally have felt any kind of nirvana. Maybe Helen did earlier with the wave that moved through her from Saint Germain. But I think that's coming for all of us. We have to start it somewhere and desire that. So just think of those, in your meditation, in your calm moments. Be by the sea, be in nature, stare at the stars, and desire more of it. Demand more of it. We wish to pull you away from the world for a moment and ask you to focus on you. What do you really want? What at the heart of you drives you? What makes you tick? Perhaps you don't really know. Perhaps again you haven't really thought about it. Perhaps it seems like a wishy-washy question, yet we say in coming back to taking responsibility for your consciousness, it's a very important question to try and answer. What motivates you? For becoming self-responsible in the way we talk of isn't for the faint-hearted, yet the rewards are high. But it takes a great deal of inner discipline to start off with. So again, this is the mind gym. Got to really work. We're being asked to take control of our mind. I ask a lot of my clients, if not all of them, what do they desire, and what did they desire? What would their dream job be like? What would their dream situation be like? And I can't remember too many times where someone's actually known it. They can't remember. So I take them back on a journey into childhood, and just to play around with thoughts and feelings, memories of thoughts and feelings that they had as a child. And whether that's like fooling around with a musical instrument or drawing pictures of something that you were dreaming of. And it generally then begins a journey back to remembering that you did have dreams when you were younger that kind of disappeared into nowhere, in the place of science and maths lessons. Not that they're unimportant, but they became the dominant feature, and ideas and daydreamings and musings were considered, not essential or unimportant at least. But the truth is they were vitally important, because they have creative power and creative energy. So go back to your childhood in your musings. Don't be scared of picking up musical instruments again, or whatever it was, your pencils, crayons, art materials, whatever you loved as a child and thought you could never make it into a career or anything significant in life. Go back to it, because they were your inherent gifts and they were there for a reason. And it might not be that thing, but it will start a journey and start a process of dreaming again and having, desires of a different kind. And it says, are you up for the journey inwards to feel inner peace from yourself? Just say yes to letting the journey begin. I mean, what have we got to lose? Not that difficult to do that, is it? I mean, just say yes. There's so much help available to you. As soon as you say yes, you will be assisted, and synchronicities will start to happen for you. Perhaps you are noticing them, or perhaps you are feeling stuck. I mean, I hear more and more, and it's not always in the clinic room, sometimes it's in the pub, people talking about synchronicities or strange phenomena, and coming from people that you would least expect it from. Everybody is experiencing something unusual right now, and making connections to stimulate their thought processes into thinking that there's actually something else going on here. There's something a bit bigger than what I've experienced before. And maybe it's always been there, we just haven't noticed it. Or maybe it's just coming on a lot stronger now to capture our attention, to, throw the net a bit wider, to bring in more people to shift this consciousness, to shift them over to a wider way of thinking. So pay attention, look at all the synchronicities, the amazing things that go on in the world, and, start with the simple things like asking for a parking space or a helping hand if you need, a pair of ladders or a set of ladders or something. You just play with it and understand that there's a level of consciousness, there's a guided collective around you that is listening to your desires and just, waiting to help. But if if you've got no money and you ask for £1 million or dollars or whatever, it's highly unlikely that that's going to happen. It's not impossible, but the reason being is you're so far detached from that belief system that it's not in your reality yet. But if you started in incremental steps, at some point you'll get to that million. It might be in months or years to come, but if you really wanted that, you would have to build towards it. So keep it simple, keep it close to you, keep it within the realms of your belief system, and make notes of it, like just the synchronicities. Please trust us when we say, with pure intention, anything that currently feels like a cage around you, something that you can't shift, a situation that seems insolvable. We tell you anything can change, and it will. A little faith and trust is needed, and that's the part to start to open up to. The faith and trust that the unseen is supporting you. It's a completely new way of being. There's going to be resistance to this because we've only known one way. So we're being asked to consider something that's absolutely brand new to us. But it's available, and if you, again, starting small and starting in a realistic perspective, I firmly believe that space and movement are fundamental key components, qualities of life that, if they're absent or diminished in any way, cause a lot of problems in our life. They certainly cause stagnation, which then can affect us, mentally, physically, emotionally. So look at any situation where you feel like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and look at it and go, well, how can I create even a smidgen of movement or space here? What can happen? And that can just be making a decision, or making a choice, or taking tiny action. And once you've created that even tiny, seemingly insignificant momentum, it moves, space moves in there, new consciousness comes in. If you stay static and still, it becomes even more stagnant, and that rock and a hard place becomes smaller and smaller. So look where you can introduce space and movement, and that begins in your thoughts and extends out into the reality world. It's where you start your day believing that you are being looked out for, believing there's a bigger part of you that's connected to the whole, and that if you start to believe it to be true, that's exactly what will start to happen for you. Some time ago, I made a point of, before I even open my eyes, so that there's a period of time, whether it's a few seconds or minutes, where we wake up and your eyes aren't open, and you're just sort of emerging into the world of real things, or seemingly real things. And if you allow the world to come in before you've engaged with your spirit self, then you're at the behest of that world. So I make a conscious choice every morning to acknowledge that I have spiritual guidance around me, that there is a God, if you like, or whatever word you want to use for it, that there's a bigger picture, that there's a level of consciousness that's surrounding us, that is supporting us. And just the action of checking in with that creates space and allows movement. And then you can open your eyes and engage the world in a very centered space that's much bigger than you. You're going out there with a team, not just on your own. You will start to work with your true self instead of inadvertently working against it. It sounds crazy when it's said like that, but it's true. A new way of being sees you honouring the true you, where you start to feel your inner connection and it starts to feel real for you. Inadvertently working against yourself, I encourage you to explore this. So the suggestion is that the way we behave works against us and goes against us with this goal of trying to remember who we really are. So pay attention to what that means, and what actions, what behaviours, what thoughts are you actively engaged in that work against you, that don't support you in your basic daily activities, and start to, refine them, start to make small changes and then big changes. If we all did that, then the world's going to change very, very quickly. So that's all from me. Thank you very much to Helen once again. I mean, again, another fluid transmission coming through from Saint Germain in the end, and also acknowledging that Helen was holding a different energy there that she hadn't transmitted before. So, that takes a lot of strength and dedication. So just honouring that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your wisdom. Brilliant. So good.
So thank you for joining us in World Affairs Truth Report number 9. We're almost in double figures, which is quite amazing, and we look forward to that next week.
Yeah.
And I hope you can join us again. Yeah. So sending love to everyone.
And lots of love.
Much gratitude for tuning in, and take care of yourselves.
See you next week. Bye.